Good morning and welcome to the Better Thyself segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. Everybody wants to be happy, and there are ways and ways of being happy. All the religious leaders and all the leaders, the community leaders, have been harping on the ways and the methods to be happy. And yet happiness is not there. Happiness is a shimra which is not there. But then people always quote their holy books. And those holy books, according to them, have a means of being happy, while in fact, all that is taught in religion is mental anesthesia. But it's quite interesting that if I go to the people who lived practical lives and yet had philosophies of their own, then we find the real secrets. While people have been quoting time out of number, the diverse religions saying that obey the Lord, believe in God, and all that blah, 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 and yet they're not happy. But then the moment we look at a certain philosophy, we find that that has stood the test of time. So today I'll talk about 3 secrets of happiness, and these secrets are which were propagated by the Romans, especially the Stoics. Now, what have the Romans done for us? We always talk of the Roman civilization, and the biggest outstanding feature was that they taught us how to build roads. But they, at the same time, they provided us how to live. How to live in this century, the 21st century, a century full of stress, full of worries, full of pain. And the work of 3 Roman Stoic philosophers offers those insights into happiness which few others have been able to do. And these philosophers, with whom I'm going to use today in my comment, are Seneca. He was the tutor to Emperor Nero. The second was a slave who became independent because of his capability, Epictetus. And the third was Marcus Aurelius. He himself was a Roman emperor. Now, if we go to their ideas, which have been repackaged now, and they are available today, then we'll see that they are the real guides to happiness. And that is why now in one of the countries which is known to be the happiest country, every year they have an annual week dedicated to Stoic philosophy. And this week is celebrated in Norway, Denmark, Finland, in fact in all the Scandinavian countries. So what are the ideas? 2 foundation principles are basically what summarizes the idea of Epictetus. The first one is that some things are within our control and some are not. And much of the happiness is caused by thinking that we can control things, which in fact we cannot control things. So what can we control? As a matter of fact, we can control very little. We do not control even what happens to us. We cannot control what people around us say or do. And we cannot fully control our own bodies even. Most of the functions of the body are involuntary. Our bodies get damaged and sick and ultimately die. And it's not our preference to be sick. It's not our preference to be unhealthy. We don't want to die, and yet we do. That's beyond our human control. So as a matter of fact, Epictetus says, and that's a basic Greek philosophy, Stoic philosophy, that we cannot control anything. We think we are controlling, but actually we are not. Now, the only thing we can really control is how we think about these things. We can control our thought process. We can control our ideas. We can control our attitudes. But neither our bodies nor the surroundings, the people who are around us. So this fact, the understanding that we cannot control anything, leads us to a second foundational principle. And it is not the things that upset us, but how we think about those things. Stuff happens. We make judgment about what happens. If we judge that something really bad has happened, we might get upset. We'll get sad, angry, depending on what it is, or happy. But if we judge that something bad is likely to happen, even that scares us, makes us feel afraid. And all the emotions of fear, of happiness, of sadness, of anger, are the products of the judgment that we make. And these judgments are in themselves value neutral, but they seem terrible to us. So judgment that we make that introduce value in the picture, they generate our emotional response. So if you realize that there are things you cannot control and they happen, then you can be happy. Secondly, when you are having value judgment, that is your attitudinal problem, and that can make you happy or unhappy. It's not something divine which comes into it. It's your attitudes. It's your perceptions that will make you happy or unhappy. And then what happens is that these judgments are one thing that we have complete control. And here's a tragedy of the human beings. The things which they can have 100% control of, they don't control that. And the things they don't have any control, they wish to control that. This paradox creates unhappiness. Things happen. And those things happen which are not inherently bad or good. It is in our perceptions and within our power to value them, evaluate them, and give them the value judgment according to our wishes. The paradox is, and Epictetus formulates this very properly, that we have almost no control over anything, and yet we can control our happiness. This is a paradox. You cannot control the causes, but you can always control the reactions and your responses. And this capability to control your reaction, this capability to control your response, is a basis of Stoicism. Stoics are not somebody who are out of the world. They are the people who understand their limitations and also their capabilities to control their emotions and thoughts, and their limitations of not being able to control things from happening. So, how to go ahead? At the first glance, when we look at it, it seems to be very challenging. How can just thinking differently help someone who is struggling to put food on the table? But the Stoics did not shy away with it. They realized that life can be hard and it has got to be hard. And their thought has always been that the harder the life, the better the man would be. As a matter of fact, these harsh realities of life, make you a better human being. And when you are a better human being, you are a happier human being. Look at Seneca. He suffered exile, multiple bereavements, and ultimately he was forced to commit suicide by Nero. He knew that it was easy to say, I'm not going to be disturbed by these external things. But he was disturbed. So Stoics have developed a whole series of practical exercises designed to help people to incorporate their ideas in daily life. What Seneca confirms and recommends after that is taking stock at the end of the day. Do nothing when you are becoming irritated, especially by something trivial. Do not act angrily in a response to one who doesn't deserve it. Quite possible by noting your mistakes in the evening, you will do better next day. So every evening is to be a time for evaluation of the things past, the matters is past. And the corrections that you note, you can incorporate in your life the next day. Now, Aurelius had another strategy, and you can adopt that strategy as well. He reminded himself every morning that he was going to meet a lot of angry people, lot of impatient people, lot of ungrateful people in the day. So reflecting in advance, he prepared his responses accordingly. If I meet such and such person, what shall I do? If such and such situation happens to me, how shall I react? So he reflected the fact that none of the peoples would like to act in the way he is imagining, because they don't want to do it, but they are also victims of their mistaken judgments. So since they are victims of their mistaken judgments, empathy and forbearance of their deficiencies can help you remain a balance in the mind. And then, most important, after training your mind, you have got to ensure that you accept what happens. Most important. Remind yourself of your unique importance and relative unimportance. You are unique in yourself. That's undeniable. You are very important. But in the whole universe, what are you? Just a dust particle. You are not a sun around which the earth revolves. The world doesn't revolve around you. And the vastness of the universe and the infinity of time makes you what you really are, not even a pygmy. So our lives are, what are their lives? They are movements placed in this cosmic perspective. Given this, why should you expect things to happen the way you want? So if you expect the universe to deliver to you what you want, you're going to be disappointed. But if you embrace whatever life gives you, you will be happier. So acceptance of what happens and not having hopes, extraordinary hopes, beyond your capabilities would make you feel happy. So be sure that this Stoics advice is extremely important. So why not try these things? 3 things. First, be conscious of your emotions. What your emotions are. Control your emotions by being conscious. Think of them. Is your emotion in consonance with what has really happened? Or is it an overreaction? Tell yourself that nothing is worth getting sad over. Nothing in the world is getting worth sad over. You were created to be happy. It's your value judgments that make you unhappy. As I said, you can find infinity in a dust particle, you can also find happiness, if not extreme unbounded mirth, at least satisfaction, even in the most troubling thing. And then your choice, choose to be happy. Many of the times when you choose to be happy, it doesn't occur to you that your choice, every situation gives you two choices, either to be happy or to be unhappy. And if you think that what has happened had to happen and you have no control in it, you'll be calm, you'll be peaceful. You may not be happy, but you will not be sad and dejected. You'll not be despondent. So, don't regret doing things. Regret only your reaction. And that too, once you have felt bad, get over that. Don't keep on ruminating. Only the pigs wallow in the mud. Human beings don't. Be a human being. Realize your limitations. Understand that things beyond your control are not meant to make you unhappy, but are meant to make you accept life as it is, and then exercise a choice. Choice to be happy. Choose to be satisfied and ignore all the irritants. You would find life worth living. You will be bettering yourself for this life and face all the trials and tribulations in the manners Stoics did. Thank you.